Zeno of Cyprus didn't have high hopes when he was shipwrecked and left for dead at Athens. After losing everything and having little else to do, Zeno stumbled into a bookstore where he was immediately drawn to Socrates' philosophy. He chose to share his wisdom with anybody who would listen after learning from the greatest thinkers of his day. As a result, the Stoic philosophy was established. Slaves and rulers alike would readily embrace Zeno's ideas as their own. He subsequently made the joke, "I made a prosperous voyage when I suffered shipwreck." However, the narrative of Stoicism does not end there. The theory is still applicable in today's culture, if not more so than it was hundreds of years ago. These Stoic techniques will help bring structure to the chaos we face in today's society. Number 1. Develop internal locus of control. Man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them. We have little influence over most things in life. The Stoics were aware of this inescapable reality and chose to concentrate on what they could control. It would appear that Epictetus had no reason to think he could manage anything because he was born a slave. He was given a fractured leg by his master, which left him permanently disabled. Epictetus will endure poverty his entire life. However, Epictetus disagreed with the viewpoint. He would assert that even if he had no control over his possessions or even his own body, his ideas, wants, and dislikes were still his. He had ownership over that. Today, it's easy to become irritated. We are so accustomed to comfort that even the smallest discomfort makes us angry. If anything on the internet takes a second longer than it should, or if traffic stops for a minute, our natural reaction is frustration, if not pure anger. None of these malfunctions are the cause of our dissatisfaction. The emotional reaction we have decided to have leads to sadness. It is our responsibility to make sure that internal states of mind are not impacted by external circumstances. It becomes obvious that we have the ability to be happy regardless of our circumstances once we internalize that. Number 2, guard your time. We're tight-fisted with property and money, yet think too little of wasting time, the one thing about which we should all be the toughest misers. The Stoics recognized that time is our most valuable asset. Time can never be retrieved, unlike any of our tangible belongings. Therefore, we must make an effort to waste as little of it as possible. In the end, those who waste this limited resource on trivialities or enjoyment will realize they have nothing to show for it. The tendency to put things off and procrastinate will come back to haunt us. The future is not certain. However, individuals who generously give their time to others will also come to see that they are no better than those who waste it. Most of us are far too prone to letting other people and commitments take up our time. We make promises without carefully considering what they imply. We were designed to benefit from calendars and timetables. We should not let them control us. Time is of the essence no matter which end of the spectrum we are on. Even if we believe we have a lot of time, we actually don't. Number 3, don't outsource your happiness. I often wonder why every man loves himself more than all the other men, but yet values the opinions of others more than his own. Much of what we do is motivated by our fundamental need to be liked and accepted by others. In the past, getting the wrong idea from our social group may have had terrible consequences. It most certainly would have resulted in banishment and, ultimately, death in the woods. That is still somewhat true now. How much time and energy do we actually invest in gaining the favor of others? How much will it cost us? In an effort to impress someone we don't care about, we spend money we don't have on expensive items we don't need. Instead of focusing on what is best for us, we often choose careers or lifestyles based on how other people view us. Every day we are forced to pay a king's ransom and are held captive. Nonetheless, there is no assurance that we will ever be set free. Cato, a Roman statesman, worked to live a life free from concern about other people's opinions. He would go around the streets in the most bizarre attire and without shoes. It was his technique of training himself to loathe all other forms of humiliation, and to feel shame solely for what deserved it. That was the only way he could oppose Julius Caesar, whom he knew was consolidating too much power. It allowed him to act decisively when it mattered without worrying about receiving negative feedback. We can learn a lot from him. It is more preferable for us to live life on our own terms and disregard the views of others. You should never outsource your happiness. Number 4, stay focused when confronted with distractions. If a person doesn't know to which port they sail, no wind is favorable. There are many possibilities available to us thanks to modern capitalism. We have many more options than the generations before us did, whether it is with regard to food, vacation, or entertainment. But it's not obvious how this has helped us. We are paralyzed by indecision when faced with so many possibilities. This is known as the paradox of choice. Our minds are bombarded by too much knowledge because they can't keep up with current advancements. The default option is to keep things as they are since decision-making is so tough. It's one of the main issues we deal with on a daily basis. We never completely commit to a road because there are so many possibilities. Either we delay making a choice or we engage in several endeavors simultaneously. As a result, we never actually progress in anything at all. The Stoics emphasized the importance of taking deliberate action. We must be careful to live consciously rather than just responding to our surroundings. Join our channel to never lose sight of what's important in life. Number 5. Remove your ego and vanity. Throw out your conceited opinions, for it is impossible for a person to begin to learn what he thinks he already knows. As a teacher, Epictetus found it extremely frustrating when his students appeared eager to learn, but in reality thought they already knew everything. It's a discomfort that all instructors are familiar with, and most of us would agree. It all comes down to ego and arrogance. The idea is that we have acquired sufficient knowledge and are superior to those living now. Such thinking is never more risky than it is right now. The knowledge available today is not only insufficient for solving issues that will arise in the future, but it also may very well be a barrier to more critical thinking. In today's world, practically every sector is just one step away from being virtually disrupted. Even in ancient history, Marcus Aurelius said that the universe is change and life is an opinion. The brightest brains of today spend a lot of time reading because of this. They are aware that insight may always be gained from the past, present, or future. It would be wise for us to do the same. Never stop being a student. Number 6. Consolidate your thoughts in writing. No man was ever wise by chance. None of the various everyday activities we might engage in is more crucial than taking time to reflect. Self-reflection challenges us to analyze our own perspectives and beliefs about ourselves. It's how some of the biggest questions in the world's history have found their solutions. One of the most helpful practices for mindfulness is journaling. It simultaneously fosters appreciation and creativity while acting as therapy. There are several advantages. Writing helps you express yourself more clearly than thinking does. The Stoics understood that very well. Marcus Aurelius, the ruler of the whole Roman world, took the time to write his thoughts and observations, whether there was war or when at ease. Today, his writings are known as meditations. While Marcus Aurelius's knowledge still has value for today's athletes and entrepreneurs alike, it is obvious that he benefited most from his own writing and ideas. Anyone in his situation would have undoubtedly failed and turned into a dictator, but his journal provided him with the clarity of thinking and responsibility that kept him moral. Spend some time journaling. It's not challenging, and the benefits are enormous. Number 7. Stand your ground. In doing nothing, men learn to do evil. In a field where compromise is frequently the norm, Cato was obstinate and unwavering in his convictions. He was taught that there are no gray areas. All virtues were the same, and all vices were the same. It appears to be an unreasonably high standard. There is no denying that many achievements have only been made possible by compromise, but it appears that the pendulum has swung too far in the current climate, as we abandon our own values in the name of tolerance or for financial gain. Cato's persistent unwillingness to make concessions enraged both his political friends and adversaries. He sought that his friends and family take the same mindset, leaving no opportunity for compromise. But upholding this absurd norm also gave him unquestionable power. As a result, he became Rome's moral arbitrator of right and wrong. There is a lesson to be learned, even though we cannot all be like him. You will fall for anything if you stand for nothing. Number 8. Prepare for the worst. Nothing happens to the wise man against his expectations. The effectiveness of positive thinking has recently received a lot of attention. We are told that the secret to living a happier life is optimism and affirmations, but the Stoics disagreed with that. They believed that this practice encouraged a lack of activity in day-to-day activities. Instead of taking effective action, it encourages us to just wish for things to go better. They made the decision to accept life's harsh facts rather than try to escape them. Premeditatio malorum, which translates to a premeditation of evils, was a practice they routinely engaged in. The idea was to envision the worst-case scenarios that may occur to them. It was a loss of reputation for some people. Others saw it as poverty and a financial catastrophe. However, the inevitable reality of death was shared by everyone. What would happen if everything went wrong the following day? How would I handle the circumstances? Should this impact how I live now? They asked themselves a few questions, including these. The activity consistently produced worthwhile benefits. In order to prevent the unfavorable consequences, the Stoics adopted precautions. They had thought out how they would handle the challenges they encountered, so even when it failed, they lived better. We should always be willing to face the truth and be brutally honest with ourselves. This is the most effective strategy to get ready for both success and failure. Number 9. Remember that nothing endures. Alexander the Great and his mule driver both died, and the same thing happened to both. In the bigger picture, none of our accomplishments matter. It's a sad realization. Every one of us views the world as though it revolves around us. That gives the impression that we are more important than we really are. In our own stories, we perceive ourselves as the main character. But in reality, this perception just exists in our brains. Everyone around us carries themselves in a similar manner, yet ultimately none of us matter. Even the most brilliant individuals like Newton and Edison would eventually be reduced to a footnote. We don't have to comply with unreasonable demands or outside forces. The pursuit of success and the pursuit of leaving a legacy is not necessary either. We all lose these things quickly. We must live our lives on our terms. That is all that matters. Only then can we genuinely declare that we have lived a wonderful life. Number 10. Foster strong relationships. The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you and whose presence calls forth your best. In the context of modern society, Stoicism provides crucial guidance for fostering strong relationships by emphasizing virtues, empathy, and wisdom. Stoics recognize the importance of virtues like wisdom, courage, and self-control in building connections founded on respect and shared values. In a society that is occasionally characterized by self-centeredness, developing empathy and compassion might help people better appreciate other people's viewpoints. Stoicism encourages us to be good friends and to embody the qualities of a good friend, such as trustworthiness and supportiveness, to attract and maintain strong relationships. By acknowledging the limits of our control over others and focusing on self-improvement, we can inspire positive change and reduce conflict. Gratitude, the handling of conflicts with reason and emotional control, and an emphasis on presence and mindfulness in interactions further strengthen our bonds. Stoicism also reminds us of the fragility of life, encouraging us to cherish our relationships and to make amends and forgive where needed. In this way, Stoicism offers a comprehensive framework for building and nurturing deep, meaningful connections in the modern world, prioritizing quality over quantity and promoting a fulfilling and harmonious life. This is the end of this video. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. We hope you learned something new today. If you would like to see more of these videos, please subscribe to our channel. If you have any topics you would love to see next, leave a comment below. Also, please let us know if you watched until the end by commenting MMM, Master Motivational Mindset, so we can connect. Please stay seated because the next video on screen will pop up that could help you on your Stoic journey.